Welcome to the San Diego Museum of Art. I'm Anita Feldman, the Deputy Director for Curatorial Affairs and Education, and I'm thrilled to present the first of a series of artist studio tours. This one with Ana de Alvear, a contemporary artist and filmmaker coming to us live from Madrid. She's an artist that has exhibited worldwide, often in extraordinary venues, such as the 12th century cathedral in Cuenca. She exhibits often in collaboration with contemporary classical musicians, including her own sister, Maria. Her exhibition, Everything You See Could Be a Lie, will open at the San Diego Museum of Art June 18th and be on view through September 27th. It'll be her first solo show in the United States, although she's exhibited throughout Asia, South America, Europe. So we're thrilled to be that venue for her. Ana explores traditional still lifes in a very fascinating way and uses them to question the values of society today. In an age of false news and dubious social media, her work has multi-layered deceptions, and we find out that things are not always as they seem. When you see her work, it first appears to be a photograph or possibly a painting, but upon closer examination, it's actually really astonishing to see that the works are executed solely in colored pencil. So it's really phenomenal that she does all this by hand. And she uses artificial flowers, stuffed animals and toys, plastic, insects. The closer you look, the more things you find that reveal a darker truth about society and the state of our environment. And I'm sure she's going to discuss that more with you as she walks us through her tour. And just remember, everything you see could be a lie. It's actually all in colored pencil. And now, live from Madrid, Ana de Alvear.
Hello, nice to meet you all. Nice to see you all in this very special times we have now, where we can actually not be in America, which would have been what I would have loved. But on the other side hand, thanks to technology, we can be together and we can connect in a very simple and wonderful way. Thank you, Anita, for that wonderful introduction. And we will walk a little bit virtually through my studio, through my house, through everything what I do. And I hope that you like it, and we'll see how the things work on. If I can start, what you're seeing right now is the poster of a piece which is going to be at the San Diego Museum of Art. This is the still life series Memento Mori, and that was an exhibition we did at the Lázaro Galdiano Museum in Madrid the first time they were exhibited, and that was the poster for it. And it's hanging in my studio, sometimes to remind me that I am able to do that, because I doubt very much about myself many times. And this is the original drawing, and it is color pencil. And as Anita said, everything you see could be a lie. If we stop that picture a little bit, we can talk about it, because this picture explains very well all my work. You think it is a photograph, yet it is a drawing. You think when you see it that it is a game, because there are stuffed animals. And if we hang stuffed animals and hunt them, we will find out that this is not a game, that it is this painting or drawing is talking about child mistreatment. So I work with very symbolic images that makes the people think what they're seeing. You can continue with the film if you want to, because one of the things I show you in these little films which we have prepared is that you see that most of the works are based on things that I have at home. You don't have to go very far away to make a still life, even though the flowers are obviously plastic flowers, and I try to lie to your eyes using small pastry here, for example, so that the flies are bigger, and so I can lie to your first thoughts. And I try to ask you all the time in my work to look twice, to be able to rethink your pre-established thoughts.
And Anna, can you tell us about the artists who you're thinking about when you create these still lives?
Oh, well, I think about all these old artists. That's also why we used a very specific light, trying to think that they would be pictures which are hanging in the Prado and which are completely different from ancient times. And it is by looking at them in a second time that you discover that that is not possible, because obviously you don't find this type of flies in an ancient picture, or you don't find stuffed animals. So actually I'm always giving you some links to find out that the pictures or the drawings are not what you previously think you're seeing. For example, the balance is not a balance. Here you can see very well that all the plastic flowers are there. And when you see them very close up, you notice that they are a drawing, but as the image goes further into it, more far away, that's when you think it is a photograph. And then I play with you, for example, putting that wonderful bee hanging where you can see the line that it's hanging. So it's always a game. I like to play. One of the reasons why I put all the stuff, the cloth underneath, is because in ancient pictures, cloth meant money, as there were rich people who would have cloth. So I use cloth. It is a very cheap cloth I bought for €1, but it looks as if it would be very specific and very, very expensive. And that's the game of everything. The animals, the little insects that appear, they were bought in Korea. I was there, and they are magnets for the fridge. And I just bought them all. I remember thinking that on the flight back that I would have had problems by bringing them back in the airplane because of the magnets, but thanks God nothing happened, and I just could fly back. But I bought about 100 of them because I found them and I thought they were wonderful, and I used them for the still lifes because again, it's a way of making a link, telling you that the whole thing is not real. For example, you can see that the apple is made of plastic, and that an ant is taking away this bit of apple is again a story that I'm telling you. I'm always telling you that what you see could be a lie, what you see could be a story, that you should think about it twice, and that maybe through that you can reach out and see what the real story is.
And some of these works is really extraordinary, the contrast between reflections in the glass and the texture of the fur or of the plastic. It's just amazing that this is all achieved in colored pencil.
Well, it is less difficult than what you think. I mean, the idea of using color pencil is because I can control it very well, and it is not aquarelle. I like to control really perfectly the technique, and actually the thing is that again, I'm lying to your eye, because you think, for example, in this drawing, that the white is whiter than the white, and it's not whiter than the white. There is nothing more white than the paper. So to make it whiter than what you think, all these glances and things on the fruit, is that just to make all the rest darker. And then your eyes and your brain tells you this is a light and a reflection. So you think you see, it's a way of lying to you all the time, you know?
Now this one in particular is quite amusing with the stuffed snake. And obviously, is that a reference to Adam and Eve in paradise? Or?
That's it. You have here, if you stop a little bit the film, I can, because here I have also various theories. At the beginning, in the Bible, it says they have an apple because there's Eve, there's Adam, there is the snake, and the apple. But they have found out that if Adam and Eve were somewhere in Africa, there are no apple trees. So there is the theory that there is another type of apple, which is I don't know how you call this fruit in English. The one which is where the snake has the tongue. You see this red one?
Pomegranate. With a lot of seeds.
A pomegranate. Yeah. That is the theory, is that was the real apple, which should have been in the Bible, because that is a fruit that is there. So that's why I put both theories in the same drawing, making a laugh, you know. And you have, so that's why it's called paradise, because of this little snake, which is again a €3 stuffed animal you can buy in Spain.
That's great.
So, and yeah, it's always a game. I love to play. It's really, I love to play. Here, for example, the next still life which is coming, all the flowers are fake, plastic, and the bees are also fake. They are not alive. Yet the story that I'm telling you is that the fake bees die because the flowers are of plastic, which is a paradox thing. Actually, in the whole Memento Mori series, there is nothing that is alive. Although there are still lives, nothing has been alive, so nothing can be dead. So even just in the title, Memento Mori, I remind you that you will die, there is a paradox, because nothing of the elements that are in the picture have ever been alive and cannot die.
Of course, and it's hard to look at representations of bees today and not think about the state of the environment and how bees are really suffering.
That's another thing that I do not only speak about mistreatment, child mistreatment by using the stuffed animals. I also talk about the mistreatment of environment. For example, that all the flowers in the pictures are made of plastic. Maybe our predictable future, everything in plastic. So it makes you think about everything. This was a wonderful exhibition in Murcia at the Fine Art Museum in Murcia, and here you can see a little bit the sizes of the pieces. They are very big. And although we start again with the same picture, this is, as I said, the picture that I have hanging in my studio. I have the big poster because the real drawing is not there. But here what you see is the place where I work. I always think that the bigger the space behind you on your back, the bigger the drawing will be, because if you stop the film here, because you can go back and you can see more, you have more space to look at a big picture. As I have no space, because my room where I draw is very small, the only thing I could do was to cut the drawings into pieces. But that doesn't take any thing away from me, because I make drawings of 3 by 7 meters, just cut in pieces like a puzzle. And as you can see, I draw in vertical, because the drawings still are very big, so I have to draw in vertical. And I draw also with a lot of electric light next to me, because they change. It is a rainy day, or it is whatever, and so the colors for me would change. And so I use this, I help myself with this electric light, so that certain colors or certain light is always the same, and it doesn't change, even though outside the light changes, you know.
And what do we see on the wall? Is that a project that you're working on now?
No, that what you see on the wall was it came to a point when all this technology things started many years ago, that I started to work with my sister Maria together in multidisciplinary concerts, and I was 13 years without drawing. So after those 13 years, I decided to draw again, and those were the first drawings I did again, and that's why I have them hanging there. It's a kind of a yes.
Inspiration, yeah. Motivation.
Yeah. Yeah. And these are my color pencils. And I have them always on view. And those little bottles, if you stop the film here, those little bottles of glass that you see that there, and that gray square, those are the pencils I use for each when I start a new drawing, especially for those very big ones, what I do is I decide at the very beginning, when I start the drawing, which is the colors which I'm going to use to stay always during a year, maybe, because it takes me a year to make a drawing of 3 by 7 meters, to stay always on the same colors, so to say, because some days, depends on the mood, you see more bluish, or you see more pinky, or you see more, and so to avoid that the pieces in which I cut the drawings get different between the mood that I have, or the light that I see. What I do is I decide to use certain colors, and those I stay with for the whole time during the drawing. And here you can see all the lights that surround me. It's like if I would be on focus, like if I would be an actress, but you always see my back. Yeah. And here you can see the music I hear. It's also very funny. I hear avant-garde classic music or contemporary classic music, because if I would hear pop music, I would fall into the rhythm, and that then I would draw as the rhythm of the pop music, which is not good. And besides that, I love avant-garde music. I work very much with many composers. Thanks having a wonderful sister, my sister Maria, who is not only my sister, but she's also my friend. This is very important. And we work together since many, many years. And through her, I could enter, let's say, another way of expressing art. You see, most of the musicians are blind, and most of the painters are deaf, because they hear not their contemporary music, their contemporary colleagues. And I am lucky to have ears and to have eyes. Through my sister, I can hear the contemporary music, and she can see through my eyes the contemporary works. And so we have an advantage in front of many other people, because we can speak 2 languages.
Can you tell us how those collaborations work? I mean, are you creating works of art at the same time that she's composing her music, or how does that happen?
Well, my sister Maria and I, we speak together every day, and so we know very much where each one is spiritually, mentally, and where the thinkings are. And when we start a collaboration together, is mostly because she has a concert, and she has an idea, and calls me saying, look, we have a concert there and there, and I would like to talk about this and that theme. And then at that very moment, I start viewing things and explaining her what the view could be, and we begin a specific dialogue over that piece. And that's the way we work together. And then once I have done the film, she makes the music. She sees the film once and then does the music freely, obviously. But so I work also with other composers in the same way. I explain the piece. Maybe they, because I have also, when I make video works, not only for concerts but also for video pieces, which I still keep on doing, I use, or I ask composers to help me with the music, and I don't put any music just found as background music. I like to collaborate with composers and give them a chance, and make out of that again a sort of concert. And what we do is, again, we speak about the piece, and they tell me what they hear, and then I send them the piece and they put the music.
Well, it'd be great to have a concert like that in San Diego.
Oh, that would be wonderful. And there are a few which are very, very easy to take with. Believe me, we should do that.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of the big drawings, the first of my monumental pieces, 3 by 7 meters, which, by the way, there is something beautiful. It's a galaxy with a black hole. And you know, they have just received the Nobel Prize, the people who discovered that there is a black hole in the middle of our galaxy. And that makes me very happy. And here you see how the building up of one of these giant pieces is made. Every time I'm doing the pieces, I'm doing it in a new way, because I'm trying to look for the most efficient way to do it. Here we did it because frames cannot be taken even in consideration, as the drawings are just pieces and they have to be together like a puzzle. So what we have to do is to make some a square with some metal paper, so to say, so that we can put the drawings together with magnets. And the funny thing is, in the galaxies, the magnets, which give a little bit of light, look tingle like if they were stars, and I like that. But that's just an effect that happens next to it. But here you see how the building up is. The building up in San Diego is going to be a little bit different, because I have learned over the different building up of this piece that I can do it with tacks, and so I put tacks on the wall, and then between the tacks and the magnets is the paper, and so it holds in the same way, and it's, let's say, not so complicated, I think, to build up. It's more efficient. So yeah, here you see that it is quite complicated, because you have to make all the squares, and then once done, we can put all the little. Well, they're not little. They're actually, the size is I think it's 60 by I don't remember the size of each of the drawings. 60 by 70 centimeters, something like that. And
there's 50 of them.
Yeah, there's 50 drawings make one piece. But the thing is, each of the drawings could also be for his own, you know, could be a drawing for his own. So that's what I like about it. What I like is that each of the pieces is for his own piece, yet all together it has a different language, you know. And again, one of the things that happens with these big pieces is that I introduce a movement into the picture. Movement in the sense of the spectator has to walk the picture to see it, so there is also time, because you cannot see the picture at once. You have to see it in bits and pieces, and then time is introduced into the piece, which again brings me to the music, because time is the essence of music, you know. And so you have to see the piece as you see it here, and each one is for his own picture, and then it's the whole thing, you know. And I've put here some persons so that you can see the size of the picture, obviously. And by the way, the background black and the background white, because I did it twice, is painted. It is drawn, because if I wouldn't draw it, it would be plain. And I need that the background, the white or the black of the background of the drawing has the same vibration than the drawing in itself. So the whole thing is drawn. And oh, this is a beautiful piece. This is my room where I watch TV, and there you see a lot of stuffed animals. This is my collection of stuffed animals. I made a piece which was in memory of the zoologist and the archaeologist who went around the world trying to tell us what animals and plants were out there. And I decided to do it with stuffed animals and plastic flowers. That was the book. The Natural Cabinet was the book in which I was inspired to do that work. And they were drawings like if they were from Darwin, here you can see them, where you would see all the stuffed animals and plastic flowers as if they were discovered. The wonderful thing is that I could exhibit that piece, which is a collection of 103 animals, stuffed animals, and 100 plastic flowers. I could exhibit it at the Natural History Museum in Madrid and the Botanical Garden at the same time. It was a wonderful exhibition, and at that exhibition, what I was asking the public was if they wanted to take over the responsibility to tell their grandchildren that once upon a time there were animals like these which were destroyed because of us, and to make them reflect or rethink what are we doing with nature. This exhibition is going, by the way, to Moscow and next year, and it's going to be again in a Natural History Museum. And this is, here you will see the exhibition, how we built it up, and it was quite funny because, I mean, we had to hang animals, 103 drawings, and we were hanging and hanging and hanging, and it was a never-ending story, by the way. And we had a wonderful corridor to do it. To walk through it was beautiful because on the other side of the corridor, what we had was all the animals which were in the Natural History Museum, and they allowed me to put my stuffed animals in as if they would be again animals that are in the museum, but they were all stuffed, you know. And so it was beautiful. The children were having great fun walking on it. Here you can see all my animals there, and making dioramas, and it was wonderful to put all the birds in that tree, which, by the way, we had to do it ourselves because there was no tree that could hold all of them. There's 40 of them, and it was wonderful to put them and to really play. As I say, I love to play, and I am very lucky to be able to play and through the game try to tell very deep and serious problems to the public, so that they make a reflection about them and they have time to rethink about them in a gamey way, in a way that we play. You know, here are all the plastic flowers, and in the same way that in the Natural History Museum we just build it up one on top of the other, and it was quite crazy. In the Natural History Museum, in the Botanical Garden, there we hanged it very light, very Japanese, very German, it was simply perfect. They were hanging just so clean, and on one side you had all these drawings hanging one next to the other, and you could see out of the window and you would see the beautiful Spanish Madrid Botanical Garden, which is really very, very beautiful. So there you can see that it was perfectly
yeah, it's lovely.
It was beautifully hanging, and here it was simply just so perfectly hanging. And it was wonderful. One was very chaotic, and the other one was completely aesthetic. And I thought it was a beautiful exhibition. We had great fun with it. In the Natural History Museum, we had 300,000 viewers in 6 months, and the Botanical Garden was not so long. It was only for 2 months, and we had 10,000 people. I mean, it was really crazy. Yeah. Oh, this is beautiful. This is how I want to explain to you that I have really, my inspiration comes from home. This is one of the bathrooms of my house, and the plants are, by the way, real plants. I have a green thumb. I'm very lucky. And I had a cat, Argo, who every time he saw me trying to make a photograph, he just came and posed. He loved to be on the pictures. And so he saw me because I loved the light what was at that day, and he immediately came and was standing there because he just loved it to be on the camera. And Argo was a wonderful cat. He died last year. Was a wonderful cat which I had for many years. I have, by the way, 10 cats, and obviously another black one, because as it still happens that people don't like black cats, but I love them. I think they're wonderful.
But it is really astonishing, Anna, that these are all pencil drawings. And if you look at the different surfaces that you've captured, the technique of that is really incredible.
Well, it's great fun, actually, and I always say that it is well, less well done as what you think, but because I make the drawings very, very big, so that you have to go far away and see them from very far away, so that you don't see my mistakes, because I make a lot.
Doesn't look like it.
No, it's great fun. I mean, it's just a matter of sitting there and just draw and draw and draw. I sit many hours a day. I make 8 hours a day, every day, and I have to say, I even draw Saturdays and Sundays. I mean, I just love to draw. For me, drawing is a moment of being free, being completely free, and that's where I'm really, really relaxed. Because that's when I'm on my own. I mean, oh, this is wonderful. These are two pieces. We should look at the video in silence, because one of them, let me explain before we start the video. One of them is Beyond Us. It's a picture, it's a film. I did a concert with Eduardo Polonio, the pioneer in electronic music in Spain. We did a wonderful piece together, and it goes from the quarks till the end of the universe. Obviously, what you're going to see here are just 3 little pieces. And the film afterwards is a piece I did with my sister Maria de Alvear, Magna Mater. We did it in Cuenca. It was a wonderful piece, again, where we talk about time. Both of the pictures talk about time, that time is a circle, but as you are in the time, what you see is only a line. But through the video, you see that circle, because both films, they start as they end. And although you have gone through a very far away path, in the first film, what you will see is from the quarks till the end of the universe. The end of the universe is as big as a quark when you see it, because the little bits what come are so small. And on the second video, the one of my sister, is in a church where there is a library, and the sun comes down, burns the library. Library is made of wood, and books are made of wood, so it rains and the trees rebuild the library. So at the end, it's centuries what has passed. It's years and years and years that have passed, but the library is at the end in the same way that at the beginning. You will just see little bits and pieces, but let's hear it, because there are both wonderful composers and the music is simply beautiful.
extraordinary.
They are beautiful. They are beautiful. Both concepts are absolutely marvelous. I mean, they were great. My sister became an award for that piece. She became the national prize in Spain. So for that piece, that's a wonderful piece. It's one of my favorite. Absolutely.
It does really transport you to another world. It really feels like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and there is another piece which is called George Odyssey, which is film number 7, and that was a work which I did. Exactly, that's the one. If we can stop there, you will see that we see the George. George is a little robot from first generation who is made of metal and who is able to go alone around the universe and discover different planets. And he discovers all these planets, and in some of the planets he helps his colleagues of second generation made of plastic who are not as good as him, because they're made of plastic, so they're less quality, and so he helps them always out. He is a very good friend of his friend, and he has wonderful principles. And the wonderful thing about this piece was that I asked colleagues of my sister. It's a piece made for 11 composers from 7 different countries, which composed each one of them a piece of 6 minutes to be played live with a trio. And it's a wonderful piece of introduction into avant-garde or modern classic music for children and for adults, because each of the composers composed those 6 minutes without knowing what the other composer was composing. And I told them to try to present their music, how they would want it to be known for the first time. And it was wonderful, because I have an American, I have a Canadian, I have Austrian, German, Spanish, Japanese. It was wonderful. It is music from all over the world, and the piece is wonderful to do, wonderful to play. It has been played more than 10 times, which for avant-garde music is absolutely incredible. You usually play those concerts once on the world premiere and never again. And this piece has been played very, very much, because it is such a wonderful piece. They play it in one thing. They have to play it with a ticker on the ear while the film is presenting. And if we go with the film now further on, we will hear the world premiere in the Reina Sofia Museum, and we can hear a little bit of each of the pieces.
Anna, can you
We
tell
had
us,
great fun.
Can you tell us how the animation was done? Did you make a series of drawings for every film?
No, no, no. The animation was done with time lapse. I have a wonderful technician, Enrique Montes. He is one of the greatest technicians you can ever have. He's a person, when you tell him a project, he says, yes, let's try. And so he's not afraid about anything. And when I told him about the project, we made most of the elements we did ourselves. We made some maquettes, but all the setups are made by us. For example, those little fishes were filmed each one by one with a hair where the wind comes, so that they would move the back, and the flowers, as you can see, are from other pieces of mine, which I reuse. I reuse all the elements what I have, and it was made photo by photo, each one of them, and it's also made with computer 3D, and it's made in many. It has many techniques. And we've played, because, for example, there is a Saint George, obviously, who kills the dragon. My George doesn't kill it. My George is ecologist. He saves the last dragon. And so each of the films have a lot of techniques inside, and we are able really to do, or I am able to do it, because I have this wonderful technician who always works with me since about, I don't know, I think we worked together almost 20 years. And he's from the very beginning there. And as I say, he's not afraid of doing anything. And he encouraged me also to do things. And I love that. I mean, he's really a wonderful person. And this is another, I have a collection. I love to collect works of my colleagues. I think it is very important to have a dialogue with the art which is being at your time. I like to collect works of younger people than me, and look what's coming up, and I have a conversation with them, and I love the art of other people. I buy things that I like because they are close to me, and I also buy things which are the contrary from me, because there are things that I would never do, because I'm not abstract, for example, and I like abstract works. I would consider myself surrealist, and then I buy things which are or realistic or conceptual or completely different than me, and so I have a dialogue with the people, and they inspire me. There are many things which they bring me, and I like to live with them, and that's why they're hanging in my house on all the walls. Although there are a few walls which are still left, and I'm still buying. I have more or less 400 pieces by now.
Wow.
Yeah, because I collect small size people drawings and pieces, because that's the only way I can live with them. And this is, by the way, the room where we are sitting now, and you see the background. Here you see the front, and that's where I'm talking to you, the computer, the table I'm sitting right now.
What's in that big display case?
That piece is a wonderful piece. Oh, that's a story. You have to wait, stop the film, because that's a wonderful story. When I was 19, that is the only pop artists, because there were two, they were called Equipo Crónica, the only, let's say, very international pop artists from Spain, Equipo Crónica. And they did these pieces of papier-mâché just as to accompany their exhibitions. And with 19, I entered a gallery, and they were going to throw them away, because they were just there for being, for accompanying the exhibition. And I said, well, if you're going to throw them away, I'll take one. And they said, okay, take it. There were 20 of them. Today, there are only 3 left. The gallerist kept one, and one other I have seen in a private collection. and nobody else has it. And I remember bringing the one of the restorers from the Reina Sofia to see the piece. And when he entered and saw it in my house, he said, "You have a better piece than ours in the museum." But yes, they were going to throw them away, and I said, "Well, if you throw it away, just give it to me." So I've been collecting since many, many years. And in the library also you see very far away, but you see some stuffed animals around there, because in my libraries I always have a lot of my protagonists of my films, and there you can see some dinosaurs, and that's the last film I've just done for which the music is being made at the moment. Eduardo Polonio, we're working again together, and he's making the music, and the premiere of that film will be sometime next year. Oh, this piece is wonderful. We have to stop here a little bit so that I can explain to you what you're seeing. These are 4 pieces of it's summer, autumn, winter, and spring, and the sizes are 5 meters high by 8 meters long. Each one of the drawings have 80 drawings to made one picture, and these are the photos I take with my handy, and I do them all together in a Word document so that I know more or less where I am at, because the sizes are so big that I cannot try it out at home. So in this particular pieces, I asked the Museo Lázaro Galdiano if they were so kind that they would give me their dancing hall, because it is a private house, and that museum, and they have a dancing hall, so I could put the drawings on the floor of the dancing hall. Here you see it, and we could film it from the balcony of the second floor. We could film the building up of the drawings, and I could see the drawings for the first time, because as the drawings are so big, if I don't make an exhibition, I don't know if they are well done or not. So here you can see the real size of those pieces, which I have to say, I will not do such big sizes again.
It is incredible.
It's very difficult to find a space to exhibit them. And I'm looking for a space to put them into, because the problem is not so much the length, the 8 meters. The problem is the 5 meters tall. To find a building that they can stand. I mean, they could lie on the floor. I don't mind. Actually, the proposal, or the virtual proposal I do, is to put them all on the floor, but and to have a building where you have a balcony and you can look at them like we are seeing them right now, because I like to make very, very crazy montage. I love to make something completely different with them, no? And the wonderful thing is, this is the summer, and you can hear. I don't know if you have these animals in America. They make in Spain. They make click 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 click. You know, and these animals. Yeah, that's right. This animals you have in Spain in the summer, and you can hear it really very much. That was a picture of Spain. This one is made in Germany. That's a picture of Germany. And obviously I work with photograph, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to work with. And this is very funny, because if you look very carefully, some of the trees, especially the ones on your right hand, some of the trees disappear on a certain moment, because as I do the drawings in a line, I just didn't, as it is on a fog day, on a foggy day, I just didn't see them, and so they're just painted to a point, and they don't come to the floor. But it doesn't matter; it works. And from far away, you don't see those mistakes. I really do, and it's wonderful because the picture looks perfect, but there are mistakes in there where the trees don't come to the floor; they just disappear in the middle of nothing, stuff like that. And this is the winter. The winter, funnily enough, I was. It took me 3 years looking for the picture. And because I was waiting for winter to try to make a photograph, and I was doing it, trying to look for it in Germany, where you were supposed to have more snow than in Spain. But no, at the end it was in Spain, and it is a snowy day in Spain, in Cuenca, funnily enough, and where I exhibited the galaxies. And it was one day that we went for a concert, and we're planning to put the galaxies, that it started to snow, and I run out of the cathedral, and we went to make that picture. So that this is a picture of snow in Spain, which is very rare, but it is there. It was beautiful. And the spring, which comes right now, is a piece. It's a macro picture, actually, and what you see is the growing of some seeds, and it's difficult because as it is macro, you see something very, very little made extremely big, and what you see is actually the beginning of a tree, because that is spring. Spring is the beginning of everything, you know. So it's very abstract. The wonderful thing is that each of the drawings, which again can go for itself, opens me that what I cannot do, because I am a photorealistic person, a hyper-realistic person, and I believe that being hyper-realistic is not a way of drawing; it's a philosophy of living. When you are hyper-realistic, you just see all the time the same thing. You just see the reality. You cannot see anything else. But the only way of being abstract is to make all these very, very big pictures. And as they are so big, the backgrounds have to be abstract. So that's the only way I can do an abstract work, right? Yeah, the sizes are wonderful, and I have to thank the Museum Lázaro Galdiano that they really closed the museum for me one evening, and we could do it with a lot of friends again. We could build up that thing, and it was wonderful. It was really great. And talking about friends, this is an exhibition. This is a wonderful piece I did in the High Festival, which has just won the prize, the Princesa de Asturias prize in Spain, which is the highest prize. It's like the Nobel Prize, and that festival won that. And this is a piece of an announcement. And the funny thing is that I am the Archangel Gabriel, who tells the Virgin Mary, which is my best friend, that a new life will be born. And here you can see my best friend. And the thing is, here you can see the whole montage, how it was virtually presented. That's how I present all my projects. We do them virtually to see if they get in. And in this piece, which is, it's not only the announcement, but it is accompanied of a chorus of 40 angels. I thank to all the people, to 40 of my guardian angels who have helped me to reach the point where I am right now. Obviously, among them is my sister, among them is Eduardo Polonio and some of the composers, and obviously my technician, my lawyers and stuff like that. And this is the place where we did it. It was a 12th century church where we could not touch anything at all. So I had the idea to make it with boxes. And by the way, we could try out the montage with taps and magnets that I will do in San Diego. and not with the boxes, but with the tabs. And here we are building up the boxes. The boxes were made on purpose for me. They are recyclable. We will use them for many other works. And here we mount it because we are not allowed to touch anything at the walls. And so we could mount them all. And it's wonderful because it's very simple, very easy to mount, and it looks really beautiful. And we had really great fun doing it. And here you see how we put the pieces of the announcement. And usually in an announcement piece, the Virgin Mary is always, when you see the ancient paintings, you see her always afraid because she sees an angel that comes and tell her that she's pregnant. In my announcement, the Virgin Maria has accepted that she is pregnant already, and the angel is whispering to her in her ears that that a lot of angels will help her, that she is not alone. And the funny thing is that I said to my friend, look, I put you as a virgin and and all the angels, because someday I want everybody to adore her like I adore her. So here we are mounting the pyramid, because it was the only way to make a pyramid with the boxes. And we made a wonderful montage, because although it was a very big montage, the size of the highness was 3 meters by 20, so it was very high, but it was not heavy because it was very light. Because we left some pieces in white, so there were not all the sides of the boxes were with angels, and so the piece in itself was very light, very supportable, and it spoke again about the times we are having right now, where everything is kind of not forever, but it stays there just for a moment. So that's why the boxes are so interesting as a montage. The wonderful thing is that no matter where I go, I can mount it in a different way, and I can do it like a wall. I can put it like columns. I can make a path where the people could walk through it, or make a pyramid like we did here. And you can see all. I put the little children on the top, and where you can see all the angels just around there. And it was beautiful because the people would have to walk all around the piece to see it, right? So it was beautiful, yeah.
Hmm. And it harmonizes so well with the space itself.
With the space and with the colors and everything, the idea was to make like a fresco, which was drawn, which was broken, and that the people were redoing it, and that's why everything was kind of in boxes, waiting for take their place, as the times are so unpredictable at the moment. And here you can see beautiful photographs of the piece, how it was done, and it was beautiful. You see those white spaces we left made the piece so leger. It was not heavy, you know, and that was wonderful. And the view was simply beautiful. And the whole piece worked very, very well on that space. The space was absolutely fantastic. It was a fantastic space. Yes. And I love to see all my friends there. That's wonderful. Actually, that was the way the artists in ancient times were also giving thanks to their friends, because when they had to make a chorus of angels, obviously they were taking angels to their friends as an inspiration. This is a work, another space where we're going to make the same work, and it's going to be sometime in December of this year. And here you can see a different montage with the same piece. So the wonderful thing about mounting that piece is that it can adapt to any space, and that will be an exhibition we will have in December of this year. and it will stay, I don't know, sometime January, February, March. We have not decided the dates yet because of the coronavirus. We are not sure if it's going to be in December or next year. However, it's planned and it's going to be, and that's how it's going to. Yeah, that's the next exhibition coming up.
And where is that? Sorry.
That is in Pedraza. It is a wonderful space in a fallen church in a castle. The wonderful thing is that it is a castle that is a very famous person who was designing inside houses, you know, a designer. He took this castle, and with some friends they started to buy the houses which are in the castle, and each one of them rebuilt them and so on. And Pedraza is one of the most beautiful places nearby Madrid, where people like to go on the weekends. Usually there are 900 people living there all the year, but on the weekends they have 3,000 or 4,000 people visiting. So it's really crazy. It's a beautiful space. Yeah.
And you're preparing another show at the moment for Moscow. Is that right?
Yes, the piece of Moscow is the one of the stuffed animals and of the zoologists and the botanicals who went around the world, and that's the one with all the stuffed animals which are going to go to Moscow. That's going to be great fun in the Natural History Museum in Moscow. Yeah, that's going to be in April next year.
Soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very soon, very soon. We have to do. It's going to be complicated because the shipping of the work is very complicated for Moscow. For you, the shipping to San Diego is going to be so much easier. But yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for the exhibition of San Diego. It's going to be great fun.
Well, we can't wait. We're super excited to have you out and to see all of your works. They're absolutely astonishing. And I think the fact that they have these sort of layers of meaning is also intriguing. You know, just...
I think that is the most important thing. It's not so much the technique that I use, but the layers that every picture has, the thinking of what is behind every drawing. Because even in the galaxies, which are so monumental and so big, they also speak about the way of escaping from situations with your mind and going and make your everyday problems so small that you can just jump over them. So that's wonderful.
And in the meantime, we have your lecture, which is on the 22nd of October, the X-Line lecture.
Yes.
So that's coming up soon. Yeah.
That's coming up very soon. Yes, that's right. That's next Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are there any questions?
Hi there. Thanks, Ana. Thanks, Anita. Yes, we do have some questions. Ana, the first one is about your training and your background. Whether photorealistic colored pencil drawings was always what you were drawn to, or if that sort of evolved over time.
I have always been photorealistic. I have always been realistic. As I said, it's not a way of drawing, it's a philosophy of living. I am a realistic person. Unfortunately, I see reality as it is, and although I try to put some fantasy on it, and I try to tell you stories and to play games, that's why my pictures have so much layers, because I try not to be as realistic as I am in person, and that's why I try to play. But that's what I show. But when you read what's underneath, then you see my reality, and that I have always been. I've always been. Actually, my sister Maria says I'm more surrealistic, because what I am talking about is underneath the reality, surrealistic.
Thanks. The second question is really about your process. What type of paper and pencils do you use, and how do you sort of create the pieces? Do you sketch them out first? Do you set up your still lifes and take a photograph? How do you sort of get from the idea concept to your finished piece?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. Let's start from the beginning, because there are many questions in that one question. The paper I use is a paper which is very hard. It's a paper which is called Horse 109. It's a Spanish paper, but it's very hard. It's not easy to break, right? So it's a hard paper. And then the color pencils I use are Faber-Castell, not the aquarelle, but the polychrome, because they have the biggest number of colors. When I draw, you can make colors by different colors by making layers. You can, when you draw, you can make different layers, one on top of the other, obviously starting with the darkest and ending up with the lightest. And then when you draw, you have to draw in a way so that you can make a net. So through making those nets, by drawing in a very open way, right, one color comes underneath the other out, and you have to press less the darkness and much more with the lighter ones. And so at the end, it's not only that I use, for example, for making a gray, I don't use gray. What I use is a dark gray, a more lighter gray. Then I use blue, I use green, I use aquamarine, I use pink. And all those colors together make that you see gray. So it's not that I use the color gray, which Faber-Castell gives to me. And that's why when I'm talking about that I do have to do all the backgrounds, is this vibration that I manage to get, so that your eye has to be focusing all the time. And then it sees that color, because your brain, it's not only me that I'm lying to you, your brain lies to you too also.
That's great.
So, and that's what I use. I use in my drawings, knowing that your brain is going to lie to you, and I play with your brain so that you get this lie completely. And about how I draw, obviously I part from a photograph. And I developed that photograph. Obviously, for example, for the still lives, we did build them up. We made a photograph of it. The light was, everything was completely controlled. Even before doing it, the photographs, I had to make to my technician a sketch. I wrote everything down, what was going on each of the still lives. There were, each of the elements were written down. There were little photographs made by my handy, saying this flower with this pot with this animal, and all this together, so that when we were mounting it up, it was much easier. So I did have everything written down, and then we made the photograph. We touched them by the computer if they need to be touched, and then what I do is I cut them into pieces and I project them, so that at the end I do have the pieces, and I have guides which help me to know where I am at. So I have the whole picture in a small picture, and I see more or less where I am, and I can imagine more or less where I am. So that's why I say I make a lot of mistakes. You just don't see them because you don't know how the first picture was.
That's great.
We had a comment from Ray who said, would it not be appropriate to call your works painting, since you covered the paper with saturated pigment?
Yes, that's why I call them paintings. For me, the technique that I use is not what determines the work, because I have painted with pencil and drawn with brush. The thing is that I believe that the line is what determines if it's a drawing or a painting. When you paint, and the line is what is the most important thing, when you see the line and you see that the line you know, when you make a line with a pencil, when that is the important thing, that is a drawing. When you do, as I do, hide the line by making so many lines that at the end what you have is a shadow, that is a painting. You understand? That's the difference. Many of the people, when they draw, what they do is, for example, to make the drawings stay clean, because your hand could, you're passing on top of the drawing could take some pigment with you. What they do is they put a paper to have everything clean. I don't. I like that the hand takes away, by doing like that, takes away all the lines. So at the end, what I'm doing with the hand and with the gravy that I have in my hand is to take the line away from you so that you don't see it. I use also Band-Aids because I work too many hours, and with those Band-Aids sometimes I use it to make like that and to again take all the lines away so that you don't see them.
What is your schedule like? Do you work on one piece at a time? And I know you said you work pretty much every day. Is that focused on one particular project, or do you work on multiple things at the same time? And how long does it take you to finish one of these pieces?
It depends on how many, or how difficult the piece is. It takes me longer or less longer. Everybody asks me that question, and I'm just not able to answer that because it depends on the piece, right? I work in many projects at the same time, but that's the point. Not in the same way. That means I have one drawing project which is going on. Then I have one film project with it at the same time. Then I have a project which is on the situation of if it is finished, but I'm looking for a space for exhibition. And then I have another project which is the exhibition I'm going to make. So there are many works going at the same time, but in different stadiums. I only work in one drawing piece at a time because each piece takes me, for example, a year. I don't put pieces in between because it takes me out of where I am at. Each of the drawings bring me to a situation, which is a situation that I want to explain. And what I try to do through the drawings is to get the situation out of the context and see it from all the points of view. To be able to do that is I go every day a different path into the mood of that problem, so to say. And as I go through different paths, what I do is I point out this situation. So at the end, I have a 3D problem made out, and I'm able to see it because I've scanned it from all the points of view, and so I'm able to separate it, to go to a different problem, right? So this is why I cannot do 3 drawings or different drawings at the same time. When I start a serial, and a serial by me is very, very long, I always laugh because I don't move or hold a pencil for nothing less than 60 or 70 drawings. I mean, I just don't even start. It is very strange that I make something less than 30. The still life series Memento Mori are only 28 because they should have been 33, which is a wonderful number I love to work with. But I just couldn't finish it. It was enough by 28.
We have another question asking if you're concerned that the deep meanings and concepts behind your work might be lost on some people due to the playful nature in which they are presented.
Yes, I don't mind. That's the thing. I don't mind about that. I think that one thing is what you understand, and the other thing consciously, and one thing is what you understand unconsciously. And I am sure that your unconscious takes the message which I am telling you. On the other side hand, not everybody is prepared to see on the same deepness. And I think that as everybody who comes to see my work makes an effort to come and see it and gives me their time, I have to thank them at least with the lesson number one, with the understanding and the seeing of a very beautiful and wonderful picture made. And even though they might not understand the last meaning, sometimes I don't understand it even myself. Sometimes it takes me a couple of years that I see all of a sudden a picture of mine, and all of a sudden I come to a point that I say, oh my God, this is in there, and I didn't know it, you know, because sometimes I do paint things where I am not completely conscious of how deep I went into.
That's great. We have one last question. This is from Gerald, who says, have any of your cats ever jumped on your chair and scratched a drawing?
No, funnily enough, no. They respect it very much, but I do have a cat who likes to lie behind me because I don't sit in the chair completely. I always sit on the border. And so I have a wonderful cat. She's called Lola, and she likes to lie behind me. By the way, the one you're seeing behind me, I don't know who is it. Oh, that's my black one. That's Araki. That's one of the youngest.
I'm glad we had a little cameo from one of your cats today. That was our last question.
What?
I said that was our last question. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Anna.
Is there anything, any last minute words you'd love to give to our viewers today?
Well, I would like to thank everybody who has seen the show, the connection, who has been with us, and I hope that you had a great time and that it was not boring. And I hope that you come and see it next Thursday. And I have to thank really all of you in the museum that you're doing such a wonderful effort, that everything, even though we have these difficult times, that we are still can be connected, and that we can do all these wonderful connections and all these wonderful conversations together. And I'm very, very, very glad to be with you. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you. So everyone tune in next week for the Axe Line lecture, which will be at 11 a.m. San Diego time on October 22nd. That's a Thursday. And mark your calendars for June of 2021, when Everything You See May Be a Lie will be opening here at the museum. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.